Well, hi there. Today is Wednesday. It is January 22nd, Journal 271, T+295. It was a City of Hope Day, but it wasn't a medical City of Hope Day. It was a Patient Family Advisory Council meeting day, which is always fascinating and something that I really enjoy far more than I ever thought I would. Focusing on culture and having the opportunity to really take a deep dive into an organization that is so committed to empathy and compassion and patient care and quality interactions at all levels with everyone in the organization is actually a privilege and something that I really take very seriously. The only problem is that when I'm done with the meeting and I'm on my way home, usually it's a long drive. And if I drive alone, usually we carpool. I carpool with a colleague and a friend, but we weren't able to do that. And usually when I go home by myself, I mean, it's a long drive. It's a 60-mile drive across the north end of the San Fernando Valley, the San Gabriel Mountains. I feel like my head's going to explode. And today was no different. But I started to think really seriously about this question of how do you build a quality organization, because it has, implications for any organization, and in many cases just for life in general. And one of the things that I started to recognize is that the City of Hope is really not afraid to question itself when it comes to everything they do. And questions are a big part of their culture, questioning what they're doing. And I started to look at the questions they were talking about today, and I started to sort of put them in cookie jars, in vertical silos. And they fall into very specific categories, at least in my mind they do. There are why questions, there are what if questions, there are how questions, there are what if not questions, and there are probably also why not questions, and maybe I can help differentiate some of them for you. Why questions are obvious, right? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing it the way we're doing it? What do we hope to accomplish by doing it? Those are all the kinds of discovery items that why questions are supposed to help with. What if questions are a little bit different? It's like, what if we did this? What would happen? The other day we were talking about worst case scenarios, and we were talking about pre-mortems and making good decisions. And I think what if questions are a big part of making good decisions. What if we did this? And what if we did that? And what would happen if? And how questions, did I mention how questions before? If I didn't, I should have. How questions are, obvious once you identify areas in which change is good. The how questions become important because they're the way you get things done. How do I do this? How do I go about doing it? How do I engage the greatest number of people? How do I get the best possible result? So what if questions are important? How questions are critically important because they're the meat and potatoes of how you get things done. But there are two other questions that appear here, and one of them is why not, and it's pretty obvious. Why not try this? Why not do this? What's the worst thing that can happen? Once you recognize that, I mean, think about it for a second. What's the worst thing that you've ever done? The worst mistake you've ever had to make, the worst outcome you ever had to endure, and realistically, you probably recovered from it, right? So it wasn't life-threatening. It wasn't tragic. Hopefully not, anyway. So, why not questions are important to ask, but what if not are different questions? What if we didn't do things the way we've always done them before? What if we weren't committed to a course of action that was developed 10 years ago? It might be outdated now. What if not questions are really important because they challenge the very structure of what it is you're doing and why you're doing it? By saying, what if we didn't do it that way? What if we'd never done it that way? What would we have had to do in order to chart a course, get where we're going? I think those are all important things to consider. And if you don't think questions like that are important, if you don't think that they really work, you need only look so far as the City of Hope for confirmation that they do work, and that it takes courage to do that, and it takes a real commitment to aligning, mind, body, and spirit into an organization that is focused on everyone involved in the organization. Obviously patients, certainly patients, but also staff. And I think that's important as well. So until tomorrow, stay well, take care. Always great talking to you.